Municipality of Sagada is located in Mountain Province, 12 to 13 hours north of Manila, with the average climate of 11 to 21 degrees Celsius. According to 2020 census, it has a population of 11,510 people. Popular activities include trekking, exploring both caves and waterfalls, spelunking, bonfires, picnics, rappelling, visiting historical sites, nature hikes, and participating in tribal celebrations. Guides can be found upon registration at the tourist office in Sagada proper for a fee. Most of the guides are natives, also known as Kankanay. As soon as we heard of its reopening, we didn't hesitate to book this trip as it's the best time to go before it gets crowded. Glad to be back here after so many years. First stop before we hit Sagada. It's a different trip today, different setup, not much of a mountain trail run. We're doing a mountain town tour. We haven't been here in a long time. Usually Sagada is known for its coffee and its oranges and so much history in it. This is where adventurers, backpackers, mountaineers go for a stop, for rest before they do an expedition, or even stay here after an expedition just to relax and settle down.
Let me take you by the hand, lady. You don't have to walk alone. If I fall behind, keep going, I'll catch you. You're not solo anymore. Bending round all the places we have been, somersaults on funny nights. We'll look back at this and laugh, believe me. Dirty windows and long goodbyes.
Yeah! First order of business is lunch. Just in time to get reacquainted with the popular restaurant named Salt and Pepper, which serves local cuisines and local versions of pizza and pasta. After lunch, we went back to our homestay and prepared for our short trek.
Oh, freezer ko na lang siya. Or I'll make like chana masala. Yung parang...
Well, we had to go to Sagada just to have crepes, no?
Yes.
It's not... Up to the falls.
Stop.
Bomodok Falls is also called the Big Falls because, well, it is definitely bigger than Bokong Falls, another popular waterfall in Sagada. Hidden deep in a valley, it takes an hour to two to get here by foot from the main road. Bomodok's cold water cascades from the top of a beautiful naturally contoured cliff to a pool below, forming a 200 feet column of water and wonder. After a trek, we had a quite simple dinner at Sagada Brew, which serves a variety of vegetarian food and excellent cocktails.
Wala pa nun 4.
Check out the rooms. Simple room, but really nice. Okay, take 2. We're supposed to run, but didn't run. Too lazy, as usual.
I wasn't lazy. I wasn't lazy.
It was really cold. We wanted to run, but it was really cold.
Yeah.
So now we're just gonna do the walk, the tour. Paitokan tour, Paitokan walk tour, and then after that we'll just have quick lunch and then off to the caves. That's it, and maybe try running again, or actually running later today. The mission compound is a significant element in the history of Sagada's early days. It is a fruit of the Sagada's interaction with the American missionaries who set the early foundation of what the town is at present. Guests would be acquainted with some historical structures such as the Church of St. Mary the Virgin, the first bell, the hydro dam wheels, among others. This part of the tour would give guests an idea how Sagada was one of the industrial centers in the northern Philippine mountains during the early 1900s before it was once again set to the background of modern development. Perhaps for a lack of transportation and willing guides, few conquistadors set foot in Sagada during the Spanish era, and the Spanish mission was not founded until 1882. As a result, it is one of a few places in the Philippines that has preserved its indigenous culture with a little Spanish influence. Anglican missionaries led by Reverend Father John Stanton built the Church of St. Mary the Virgin and founded St. Mary's School, Sagada in 1904.
I know somewhere there is a party going down. Interesting people, conversation to be found. I've lived in cities where there is no solitude. I've made some friends there that I hope I'll never lose. But for now, I want to stay in this quiet town. The neighbors on my block, they've got stories to tell. This is the grocery, but once was a hotel.
Sagada is famous for its hanging coffins. This is a traditional way of burying people. Despite their popularity, hanging coffins are not the main funerary practice of the Cancanay. It is reserved only for distinguished or honorable leaders of the community. They must have performed acts of merit, made wise decisions, and led traditional rituals during their lifetimes. The elderly carve their own coffins out of hollowed logs. If they are too weak or ill, their families prepare their coffins instead. The dead are placed inside their coffins, sometimes breaking their bones in the process of fitting them in, and the coffins are brought to a cave for burial. Instead of being placed into the ground, the coffins are hung either inside the caves or in the face of the cliffs, near the hanging coffins of their ancestors. The Sagada people have been practicing such burials for over 2,000 years, and some of the coffins are well over a century old. Eventually, the coffins deteriorate and fall from their precarious positions. The reason the coffins were hung was due to the belief that the higher the dead were placed, the greater chance of the spirits reaching a higher nature in the afterlife. Many of the locations of the coffins are difficult to reach, and obviously should be left alone out of respect, but can be appreciated from afar. The more common burial custom of the Cancanays is for coffins to be tucked into crevices or stacked on top of each other inside limestone caves. All of these burial customs require specific pre-interment rituals known as the Sangadil. The Cancanay believe that interring the dead in caves or cliffs ensures that the spirits can roam around and continue to protect the living.
To stay in this quiet town. Neighbors on my block, they've got stories to tell. This is the grocery, but once was a hotel. And Mr. Driscoll, he just stands there with his smile. And by inviting everyone he sees to come inside. This is the life I want to live in a quiet town. Sometimes I miss the show. I learned a long time ago. Sometimes I miss the show. I learned a long time ago. Come Sunday morning, there's a market on the square. Children are playing, bells are ringing in the air. Old men are drinking, it's a lazy afternoon. Content with thinking that there is nothing to do. So for now, I'm gonna stay in this quiet town. In this quiet town.
Spiderwebs.
In this quiet town.
Kudos to our tour guide Ezra. He was very lively and informative. After a tour, we then head down to Sagada Bistro to try out their etag pizza. Etag is a native delicacy in the Cordillera Administrative Region made of pork cured in salt and then sun-dried or smoked. After lunch, we had our dessert at the famous Sagada Lemon Pie House. A must-try whenever you decide to visit the area. So we opted to burn what we ate since we ate a lot. So we're just gonna walk towards the cave. In the coastal town of Sagada is where more than 60 caves can be found, and one of them is the well-known attraction called Sumaging Cave, which was opened in the 1960s. You'll witness numerous rock formations inside that slowly formed nature. The Sumaging Cave is the biggest one in Sagada. The rock formations that resemble common forms are the highlight of this incredible adventure. There is an individual-made staircase from Sumaging Cave's mouth. It's quite manageable to go down, as the more you look ahead and look down, the easier it is, which is why beginners can enjoy the caving trail experience here. From the mouth of the cave, the tour guide would lead the group down the steep, bat poop-covered cliff. The path to the cave is slippery, so holding onto rocks along the way makes for a safe descent.
Ay, ginawa. Ulit, bag. Ay, bag.
Okay, here we go. Can you hear bats? With a reassuring gesture, the tour guide would ask the group to remove footwear since walking barefoot allows better traction than walk with any non-slippery footwear on.
Ay, ay, ay!
Crossing the wet slope that bridges the bat cave to the looming chambers from afar could stir fear. But as one learns how to move without slipping, worries seem to subside along with the eerie squelch of the bats. As the process gets more challenging, the more the cave reveals impressive rock formations, such as the King's Curtain, rice terraces, and the huge hall called the Dancing Hall.
Ay, wait lang. Yung bag ko eh.
Okay, we just finished our cave-in. What an experience. Very cold.
It was.
Slippery. And
It was an amazing experience nonetheless. We saw fossils.
bats. You can hear them now. And lots of rock formation. And cold water. Look at Kervin.
Finished!
After all that workout, it's time to reward ourselves with some scrumptious meal in Yogurt House, another must-visit restaurant when you're in town. Well, we can't really go to the Cordilleras and not run. Woke up few minutes past 5 and we decided to hit the road and some trails before we go to our final tour. Okay, we're just navigating our way in the forest. We have to be back by 6:30 and we're still far away, 15 minutes from now. Hoping we could find our whole route back. Let's see. Time pressure. So we decided to head back because we won't make it in time. It's such a tease because the trail is so nice and it's so long. Much further. But if we don't go back, Kevin won't have a girlfriend anymore. And Kervin might have to take a dump in nature. Anyway, it was fun. At least there's something to look forward to. I mean, we can come back. This is the walk when someone wants to go back and take a dump. The Blue Soil Hills is probably one of Sagada's best secrets. Stuck within the mountainous terrains of 1,000-old limestones. As its name suggests, it's a roll of hills in a lovely color of faint blue, no bigger than a square kilometer, surrounded by towering pine trees. From the northernmost point of Marlborough Hills, we started the descent by a narrow trail leading to grasslands. We went straight until it led us to another narrow trail at the side of the hill, giving us a view of the Cordilleras.
Nothing could ever ruin what we have here. Me and you shooting our love from here. Sunrise unfolds, descending our toes, ready to wash in the waves. When the sunrise leaves, we're still in the sea, still got okay. Take shelter in the water, air into our lungs. Listen to the sound of the ocean below. Close our eyes, start daydreaming, fall asleep in the sea. Nothing could ever ruin what we have here. All I need is in front of me, you, my dear. With you, my dear. Sunrise unfolds, descending our toes, ready to wash in the waves. When the sunrise leaves, we're still in the sea, still got away. Take shelter in the water, air into our lungs. Listen to the sound of the ocean below. Close our eyes, start daydreaming, fall asleep in the sea. We don't know what we want, we don't know where to go. As we go, I'll always follow you home. And the sunrise unfolds, descending our toes, ready to wash in the waves. When the sunrise leaves, we're still in the sea, still got away. Take shelter in the water, air into our lungs. Listen to the sound of the ocean below. Close our eyes, stop daydreaming.
Okay, we just had our last meal here in Sagada. 3 days of fun, adventure, and good company. Last meal was in Yogurt House again. Yeah, food is that good. I recommend this place. You know, if you're coming here in family or friends, it's very adventurous. You have a lot of supplies here. You get groceries, restaurants, and beautiful homestays. And we stayed at Sagada Homestay. Beautiful place, and the people are very friendly and very knowledgeable. So